who's the brand hero? Maybe it's the magician who's the great physician, or the scientist who explains chemistry, or the guy who can help you get good stuff cheap at building routine. Maybe it's the customers who come to you and use your services to complete the quest that they're on. But behind the scenes, it's you people. If you're daring to differentiate on experience, you're changing businesses. You're making change. So back to the axe. All mankind should love each other, but when visiting your brother, take along your axe and swing it fast. For not in theory, but in practice, delight gets wrought with axes. And thanks to what you do, the age of delight is not past. Thank you, and have great delight.
It dawned on me as I was doodling one day that I could try my best to try to sell these doodles to people, because truthfully, the company is called I Want to Draw a Cat for You, and I can't think of any better mission for that company. It's something I actually want to do. This project creates a conversation. When you pay $9.95 for a stick figure cat, you are talking to a company, me, and that company is talking back to you in a very personal way. This person wanted a cat with a tennis racket holding an egg roll for a reason I don't understand, but it's something very personal to them. I took that request, I validated it, and I talked right back to them. And I'm not trying to stand up here and say, hey guys, a conversation with me is the greatest conversation in the world. No, I'm not a special person, I am a person though. And having a real conversation with a company on a personal level is enough to really fulfill that need, and kind of the absurdity of it erases that loneliness.
We have a prepaid Amazon account that all employees have access to, that they can purchase anything they want for any client, for any amount, at any time, no questions asked. All they have to do is share the story, and we have a little tool to make sure that the same client hasn't received something in the last 6 months. So Whitney had been incented, and she'd been inspired, and she'd been empowered, and that led to a brand new employee doing something pretty special that made a pretty big impact.
That was the original fax machine. The patent was filed 1864, 3 years before the phone. Why did it take 100 years for it to catch on? Why were we just faxing like crazy at the turn of the century? Because we had the phone, and we want to talk to each other. We don't want to fax something back and forth. Technology is nothing without connecting.
All of the advertising on the sideboards is just as compelling and just as big and just as prominent. So visually I get lost. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. I would agree. I think the non-standard icons for the social media, it seems like design for design's sake.
I really question how well this site performs, because if you look at the area of content where they're updating the most frequently with their news, it's a really odd way of kind of navigating through that experience. You have to click on the story, it pops up a window, but there's no ability to deep link to any of the content that they have here.
We had the presence on our site that mirrored that took people into a collection on our message boards of our different close-up shots. We unveiled a full jersey on October 1st with a full photo gallery, full video package, and we wanted to make sure we had clear calls to action to purchase. That's the big thing, do all these awesome engagement pieces, but if you're not leveraging that for revenue, you've got to rethink your strategy.
He does have a smartphone in his right hand, and he's just sunny and happy walking off the train. So I'm like, this tells the GlobeSherpa story. The only problem with this picture is that it's sunny, and as we know in Portland, it's going to be raining. And you're waiting in line for the ticket vending machine, it's pouring down rain. So needless to say, we think this is dumb, and there should be an easier way to do it. So what is the problem? The problem is that buying and using a ticket as a rider is not terribly easy, but for transit authorities, our key customers, it's really expensive to issue a ticket. How do we make this as simple as possible for the power user who has a month pass to ride every day, while still making it possible for a mom and 3 kids to ride and not have to say, honey, I don't know how to use this thing. And what we figured out in that process is that any transit ticket uses one of 4 distinct filters to create a ticket. What type of rider are you? What type of fare are you purchasing? Do you have zones or a geo class? And do you have time of day pricing?
So before I reveal what that image is, who would actually want to play this game with real money? Any show of hands. One very, very brave person. Okay, so I'm going to give you all a moment. We'll play this game for free. I'll give you a moment to think what that picture is going to be. Okay, here it is. So did anybody guess that I was going to reveal Shark Soldier? I didn't think so. The thing is, innovations are often very surprising and unexpected. Now, if there were somebody who was lucky enough to guess that I was going to display this picture, what would it be like if you were trying to innovate continuously, come up with a new innovation, and one after another, after another, after another? Doing a little bit of experimentation does help you greatly narrow down the realm of possibilities.